So just going live and then we start. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare. Now sharing the screen. Mm. Is screen visible, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, screen is visible.
Thank you, Mataji. So we start with Bhagavad Gita 7, knowledge of the absolute, Jnana Vijnana Yoga. So before that, we had chapter 6. So humble obeisance to Radha Govinda, Hare Krishna. So this was our recap of 6.1 to 6.4, what we read in last Friday. That is advancing in yoga through detached work, which is Niskama Karma. So there is no attachment to the fruit of action. So that is called Niskama Karma. From that platform, 6.5 to 6.9, it is about the yoga rudha stage, that is giving up work and ultimately reaching the samadhi stage. That is through the Ashtanga yoga system. Then 6.10 to 6.32 was something where again Arjuna asked about his queries, that what are the further stages in the practice of yoga. So all these stages like yama, niyama, you know, pranayama, dhyana, dharana, samadhi, all these stages were discussed. And also another thing was discussed, that what happens to a particular yogi who leaves in between. So that is something what happens to the destination of an unsuccessful yogi. But in between 6.3 to 6.36 also there was a discussion on necessity of controlling the turbulent mind, because Indriyani Pramathini, that we have already read in chapter 2. And 6.37 to 45, of course, the destination, that is Suchinam Srimadam Gehe. In fact, so Sarpamapyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat Pratyavayana Vidyate. So nothing, not a single endeavor towards Krishna consciousness, towards bhakti, never ever, you know, diminishes. And it starts from where you end or the bhakta end, so that he's provided the ecosystem and the surroundings in such a way that he will start from where he ended, whichever stage he ended, doesn't matter. But that is what the arrangement of Krishna, the beautifully arranged, so that he takes birth in either a Suchinam Gehe, means in a Brahmin family, so that he can, pursue his whatever previous sadhana he had, or in a Srimatam Gehe, that is in a mercantile family, so that he or she doesn't have to think about the bread and butter and other things, so that he can concentrate on the path that he had chosen in the last birth. That's how we have, small children also. Many times we see in the ashram also, in ISKCON ashram also, we can see in Mayapur. If you go in the school, you will find absolutely kids are, doing beautiful chanting of Gita. How does that happen? I mean, the entire Gita, and not only that, they're only chanting just by getting it by heart, but they're also understanding that that's the kind of uh, development which has happened in the previous life, which has now come in this life. So, and now Krishna declares 6.46 to 47, he declares that who is the topmost yogi out of, let's say, Jnana yogi or Dhyana yogi. That is, Astanga yogi is primarily a Dhyana yogi, and then the Bhakta. So he declares that Bhakta is the topmost yogi, and there we ended chapter 6. So this is the connection to chapter 7 now. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections. So 1 to 3, description, knowing Krishna in full by hearing about him. Shravanam, we know the Navavida Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So we start with Shravanam. Then 7 point. So basically know Krishna. So knowing Krishna. Vedai sarvai aham eva vidya. Basically, knowledge, when we talk about even Jnana Yoga, about knowledge, so chapter 7, in fact, starts with the Bhakti Yoga because in the beginning, we already said that chapters are divided into three, primary sections. So 1 to 6 was Karma Yoga, 7 to 12 is Bhakti Yoga, and 13 to 18 is Jnana Yoga. So this is the best chapter that is in between. It is kept in such a way that because it is secret, because bhakti is a secret. It's a secret through the parampara. So knowing Krishna is not about just the knowledge. Knowing Krishna is to know about bhakti, to know about the surrender. So knowing Krishna in full by hearing about him, knowing Krishna as a source of both material and spiritual energies, Daivihesha Gunamai Mama Maya Durattaya Mameva Ye Prapaddante Maya Metam Tarantite. The three modes are controlled by Krishna, therefore surrender. Surrender is a very big word, and it is somehow said in English as a surrender or sharanagati, but it's a very, very, very big word. I mean, all of us are neophytes. So surrender, in fact, therefore, the word surrender is used in the 18th chapter. And in fact, towards absolute, the last verse where we are saying the Sarvadharman Parityajamam Ekam Sharanam Braja, that has not come, in 17 chapters. So therefore, we can understand that surrender is not that easy. Is it easy to say? But because surrender would mean that complete faith, whatever it may be, in whichever situation, doesn't matter. Like the best example is Prahlad Maharaj. Whichever way, with whatever happens, but yes, I have firm faith. So that is surrender. So we can have some glimpse of that. We are all neophytes, and but then it's a great opportunity. It's a great chance that we all have come here. So thank you so much that you have participated in level one and now you are doing level two. It's a great mercy of Krishna. Without Krishna's mercy, it's not even possible to come to this stage to even listen or to discuss, because whatever you're doing is now akarma. This is neither sakama karma, nor this is pure akarma we are doing. And it's a great opportunity that we have come together here and we're discussing. 7.15 to 7.19 is the impious lack. Basically, 15 to 19 and 20 to 20 to 25 are about, various people who surrender to Krishna and who do not surrender to Krishna. So those things will be also there. And the piousness, in fact, that piousness which happens because of the surrender, that develops knowledge and then surrender. Then 20 to 25, others who have no knowledge, those who surrender to demigods, they do not have the knowledge that the supreme personality of Godhead is Krishna, and anything, any sacrifice, Bhaktaram Yaggatapasam, Sarvaloko Maheswaram, this knowledge is not there. So therefore, people worship demigods. There is no harm in worshipping demigod. They are also the agents of Krishna. So there is no problem. So whatever, in fact, Krishna gives the faith. When Krishna listens to your, or someone's faith towards a particular demigod, then Krishna, in fact, makes that faith steady as a Paramatma. So ultimately, everything is done by Krishna only. So others who have no knowledge, those who surrender to demigods and those who are impersonalists, they do not surrender, but ultimately they surrender. And 26 to 30, finally the bewilderment of the living entity and his freedom through knowledge of Krishna. So this will cover all the 5 sections. So this is a synopsis of chapter 7. So 6.47, what we last read in the last Friday was Yoginam api sarvesam mad gatentara atmana श्रद्धावान भजते यो माम समे युक्त तम मतः. So me yukta tama mataha. So in my opinion, he is the best yogi, yukta tama mataha, who yoginam api sarvesam mat gatentara atmanas, sardhavan bhajate. Whoever, so yogi who always thinks of him, and here Krishna says me, basically him. So yogi who always thinks of him in devotion and concentrate on him in full faith, he is the Yuktatama. He is the best yogi. He declares in 6.47. So from there, our chapter 7 starts. So this begins with stress processing of hearing, the way of acquiring knowledge by descending process as the only process, because we know our entire parampara is through Shruti. So this is the process through which we know about Krishna. So knowing, so so these are the various sections. So knowing Krishna by the process of hearing about him, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Padasevanam, Sakhyam, Dasyam, Atma Nivedam, the entire process we know. Knowing Krishna as source of matter and the spirit, then Krishna controls the modes of material nature. It is Daiviyesha Ginamai Mama Maya Duratvaya. Then the impious never surrender and pious do. Uh, and various types of people that will learn. Then surrendering to demigods and impersonalism, what happens to them, where they go, and then finally the bewilderment of living entities and freedom by knowing Krishna. So how we get out of this place of Dukhalam, Asha, Satam, that is birth, death, disease, and old age, and how to get out of this. And Yadgatva na Nivartante, how to go to his abode, that part also we'll discuss. So, summary of section A 1 to 3 is knowing in full by hearing about him. Just by hearing about him, Krishna requests Arjuna to hear of both his material and spiritual energies, his Antaranga and Bahiranga Saktis, and declares that the transcendentalist who succeeds in truly knowing him is most rare. So, this last statement is very important. The transcendentalist, who is a transcendentalist, who is constantly in the devotional service of Krishna, is having the transcendental service of Krishna. Even out of them also, very few succeed in truly knowing him is the most rare. So, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Maya Shakta Manaha Partha Yogam Yogam Yujjan Madashraya Asamshayam Shamagramam Yatha Gyasyasi Tatshunu. Tatshunu, Ka and Sha, that become Cha. So therefore it becomes Tatshunu. Now here, O son of Partha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So mind attached to him, full consciousness of him, and then only you can know him. And after that, he's saying, so this is the knowledge of absolute. Knowledge, so there is no difference between the knowledge of absolute and the knowledge of Bhagavan. So both are same. So Lord Krishna is the absolute truth, and Lord Krishna is also the supreme personality of Godhead, the Bhagavan. However, the realizations happens at different level based on the kind of path somebody choose. If somebody choose the impersonal path, where they concentrate on Brahman feature, then they have partial realization. Then they concentrate on the localized feature. Again, they have some partial realization, like that of a sun disk, or in the first case, like that of a sunshine. Sun is there. One, the ultimate objective is to experience the sun, and the only way to experience sun is to enter into into the sun planet. There is no other way to experience. If there is no other way to experience, then what is the point of getting satisfaction just by a sunshine? Sunshine is there, it doesn't mean that sun is there. But then Brahman, the impersonalists, they think they are satisfied with that. And also Paramatma feature like the Ashtanga Yogi, they're satisfied with the Brahma Jyoti. But Bhagavan feature, where only Bhakta realizes Bhagavan feature with all six opulences, because there is a exchange of rasa. So living entity is the spirit soul, which is encased in the body by different yoga process, and the yoga processes are like jnana. So let us see the process like jnana yoga, through which he realizes Brahman. Then there is Ashtanga yoga we talked about. He realizes Paramatma, and then ultimately the Bhakti yoga, where he is capable of elevating to the self-realization, that is Bhagavan. So what Srimad Bhagavatam talks about in 1.2.17 is once the bhakta, what happens in case of a bhakta? We know about all the verses where Krishna says that Manmana bhava, mat bhakto, mat yaji, mam namaskuru, ananyo chintas tamam. So ultimately, it is concentrating, focusing mind on Krishna. That leads to what? That leads to engaging in 9 process of devotional service that we talked about: Savarnam, Kirtanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, etc. So focusing on mind, then slowly goes to the 9 process of hearing. Then by constant hearing, what happens? There is a purification process happens there, and then the devotee develops transcendental knowledge. In fact, in the NOD or nectar of devotion, there is a beautiful verse which says, Sarvopadi binirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam. Sarvapadhi binirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam. Rushi kena risikesha sevanam bhaktir ruchyate. So what is the first class devotion? The first class devotion is all about once a first class devotion develops, then one is constantly engaged in devotional service, please Krishna. And how a Krishna is pleased? Krishna's name is Rishikesha, means he is the master of senses. So he is pleased. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. So by pleasing his sense through our senses, that is called bhakti. And by that, the two things happen. Purification happens by default. It's the two side effects. One is purification and Tatparatvana Nirmalam and Sarvapadi Brahmuttam. And one is free from all designation, freed from modes of passion, ignorance, lust, and greed. Impurities are wiped, situated in pure goodness, because that's a Sattva stage. Because Sattva is the stage which is required and the minimum stage from which a bhakti journey can start. Because without coming to the platform of sattva or goodness, we cannot go to the Vasudev platform. So becomes enlivened in devotional service, understand signs of Krishna perfectly. So then that becomes a complete knowledge of absolute truth. This is about the text one. So this 7 or Navavida Bhakti, so there are great bhaktas. They are not, they are pure bhaktas, not neophytes like us, who got the darshan of Sri Krishna and direct realization of Krishna just by doing one of the Navada Bhakti. For example, let's say we start with Sravana. So here we can see Maharaj Parikshit, we can see. Parikshit, 7 days, within 7 days, he was supposed to die, and he took the best decision to hear about Krishna. And what is about Krishna? The entire Bhagavatam is about Krishna. And in 7 days, he tasted the nectar of Bhagavatam. And on the 7th day, when he's supposed to, the Takshak is supposed to bite him, then we know that by that time, in fact, he escaped. He escaped in the sense he already got realized. So then Sukadeva Goswami, then, who in fact continuously, you know, told about the Bhagavatam. So that is equivalent to Sankirtanam, remembering. Lakshmi Devi also remembers. In fact, Prahlad ji also remembers. Pada Savanam is Lakshmi Devi. Then Prahlad Maharaj is remembering. Then we can have Archana in case of Maharaj Prathu. We can have Akrura as a Bandhanam, Dasyam Hanumanji. Then Sakhyam, we have many. We have Arjuna. We have, you know, many others. And then, of course, Maharaj Bali is the Atmanivedanam. Also, all the gopis and gopas are also part of the Atmanivedanas. So, this is the process. We know all of them. Yes. So, Jnanam te ham sabhijnanam idam, idam, Jnanam te ham sabhijnanam idam bakshami asesataha yat gatva neha bhuyonya gyatvam avashishyate. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous, by knowing which there shall remain nothing further to be known. This last sentence is so powerful. By knowing which there shall remain nothing further to be known. Now we can always say there are so many, branches of science, arts, music, this, that, specialization, but all that is material knowledge. And material knowledge is not knowledge. That is just real knowledge is the vijnana, which is about the spiritual knowledge, which now he will talk about. So knowledge of absolute. So let us understand what Krishna say here. So Krishna explains full knowledge that is phenomenal as well as numinous. How? So one is the knowledge about the matter. So, for example, seeing object as it appears to our senses, disconnected from Krishna, because we know we have four defects. So our senses are imperfect. So whatever knowledge we acquire and perceived by the senses will always be imperfect. However, Vijnanam is spiritual, or we can say numinous. There is knowledge about spirit, not acquired through senses. It is not acquired through senses. The knowledge coming from parampara is through Shastra and Guru, which is directly coming from Krishna, not through our senses. So it is not necessary to perceive by senses because many times many of our gurus, including our founder Acharya, Prabhupada also said, can you show me Krishna? Then Prabhupada gives a wonderful example. Prabhupada says that have you seen a black cat or a cat rather in a dark room? Then says yes. Then what do you see there? A black cat in a dark room? You see only the eyes. That's all, which sparkles. You cannot see anything. It doesn't mean it is not there. And why you cannot see? Because light is not there. So because the consciousness and also at different levels of consciousness we have already studied, that like that of an embryo, like that of a mirror, dust deposited on the mirror, etc. Because of that, because light is not there, so therefore we are not able to perceive Bhagavan. Otherwise we can. So knowing this, nothing more to be known. But what is this transcendental knowledge? This is seeing object Krishna's energy. So everything is Krishna's energy. That, and which are the Krishna energy? Of course, details will know. Like it's external energy and the internal energy, then marginal energy. On the external energy, we have all the five elements, then three additional subtle elements, all those things. But Krishna is the controller of both. That is both matter as well as the energy. So therefore, Lord Krishna to Arjuna's qualification that he is able to have this knowledge, the knowledge of the absolute, because he is a devotee and second, he is a friend. Bhaktosi Sakhati, Saketi Bhaktosi, that he uses most of the time. And controller of, and Krishna is the controller. We have, known this. It is Bhoktaram Yagatapasam, Sarva Loko Maheswara. He is the controller, cause of all causes, Sarva Karana Karanam. He is a source of all knowledge and only object of meditation for all yoga process, whether it is Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. He is the ultimate object. And this is the knowledge. What is a knowledge? In one word, of course, Vedai Sarvai Ahamiva Vidya, he is to be known. But he is to be known as what? He is to be known as through his energies. So Manushyanam Sahasresu Kaschid Dadati Siddhaye Yatataamapi Siddhanam Kaschinmam Vetti Tattvataha. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Yeah, this happens. This happens in our normal life also. You see how on the top you can see how many people are aspiring to be perfect. All of them want to go to the you know, win the race of marathon. And marathon is not just 100 meters or 500 meters. It might be 25 kilometers and things like that. It could be more also. So all of them start well. It is not that their endeavor is not there, or their you know, initial enthusiasm is not there. Everything is there. But after sometimes we see the in the below, some are saying that, oh, it's too tiring. Okay, let us take rest. Okay, fine. It's enough. Maybe next time. All those things happen, and ultimately you see only some three guys or who have, made to the last point. So same thing happens on the spiritual path also. Manushranam sahas resu. Out of so many men, kaschit yatati sadhyaye. Only few endeavor for perfection. So, like, some people even do not endeavor for perfection, and others who have achieved perfection, they hardly know me. In the sense that when we are talking about, let's say, neophyte like us, where we're saying Kanishta Adhikari, then we say Madhyama Adhikari, then say Uttama Adhikari. So that is about the Adhikari. But full knowledge of Krishna is absolutely different, you know, uh, phenomena altogether. So people are taking birth after birth after birth to perfect this process, and then after that they are able to know him. In fact, he's saying that in other verse, he's saying that yoginam api sarvesam yume vetti tattvataha vasudevam sarvamidi sa mahatma sudurlava. It is similar, right? So knowledge of absolute, rarely man achieves perfection out of perfected souls. Rarely some understand Krishna. Why this happens? Because different grades of men are there. And what are those grades? What generally happens is, in there many, you will find many people who are interested in animal propensities, eating, sleeping, mating, and depending. That is primarily, you can say, in the Annamoya Kosha. As far as the consciousness is concerned, they are in the Annamoya Kosha, not even the Manomoya Kosha. Not even, see, highest is the Anandamaya Kosha, which is the blissful stage. So in fact, our we say that there are 84 lakhs of species, and 4 lakhs of human beings. So Chatur Lakshani Manavaha and Jalaja Navalakshani. We say that aquatics are 9 lakhs. And for this 4 lakhs, when we say 4 lakhs of human being, this is divided into, like, what is the basis of their division? How do you divide them? Anyone? Can someone say this? On what basis they are divided? Hare Krishna. Let us have some interaction. Hare Krishna. Are you all there? Are you all there? Hare Krishna. Am I audible? Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, you're audible.
Anyone can answer? Mataji, can you answer? Punnalila Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. So, what are the, like, and how we divide 4 lakhs? Why it is 4 lakhs? On basis of what?
No idea, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. No problem. No problem. No problem at all. So, primarily, basis, number one basis is the consciousness. So, of course, the body types, shapes, and all that is there, but primarily on conscious levels. So, you will have, guna, first level is at the guna level. So some people are a sattva, raja, tama, mixed, etc. That is one way of identification. Second is the various combinations of consciousness. So with those various consciousness, we divide them into 4 lakhs. So we can have that permutation and combinations of guna as well as the consciousness. So that becomes too many types, which is about 4 lakhs. So, but very few are there who are into transcendental knowledge, soul super, who knows, who's interested. So some people are only interested in eating, sleeping, mating, and depending, and die, no problem. And that's to enjoy. In fact, when you do Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, then you say that you are actually wasting time. Actually, we're doing the right thing because that is the akarma, transcendental knowledge. We're interested in soul, super soul, body, absolute truth. So this is very, very few. And because of this, propensity, particularly this understanding of self, super soul, process of realization, this happens only for the few because the knowledge propensity is also few, and also the conscious levels are different. If somebody let's say, if some if people are mostly interested in animal propensities, eating, sleeping, mating, and depending, then they will not even athato brahma jigyasa. If it is not there, the jigyasa is not there, then naturally there will be few, no. So not that Krishna has just said that there are very few who can perfect. This is the reason why very few perfect. Absolute truth, cause of all causes, knowing him as the Sarva Karana Karanam, that he's having all the six opulences, he's having all knowledge, his all richness, all fame, all beauty, all opulences, all non-attachments. This knowledge can only be known by whom? By only the process of Krishna consciousness, which we are now doing and engaged in devotional service. And how many people are there in devotional service? Very few. And therefore, Krishna is saying there are very few. Process of bhakti is not easy to practice as proclaimed by impersonalists. It is not easy. Something which is generally given as easy, people think that it will not work. You know, of course, we know very well that in different yogas, they were meditating for 10,000 years in Satya Yuga. Yeah, because that yoga, the yajna or sacrifice was for meditation. So they're doing, and so that's not a great thing. But it cannot equate at all with the Nama Yajna of Kali Yuga. Because in Bhagavatam, it is said that there are so many problems of Kali Yuga, so many problems. Manda buddhis are there, people are all cheaters, all those things. But there is one thing which is not there in any of the yugas, and that is just by Nama Sankirtana, one can straight away gets liberation. This doesn't happen in any yoga. So that is the beauty. And this is not easy as well. Krishna gives everything. Krishna will give you, all opulences, everything, but he will not give you the bhakti. And the process of devotional service, it is all as per the Vedic literatures. Whatever we are having this parampara, the Navada Bhakti we talked about, or, the process of getting up at 4 o'clock, having the arati, and various other activities that we have, reading scriptures, sadhu sangha, sastra, all the process, Sravanam Kirtanam, the nine process, different kind of rasas, all these are already there in the Vedic literature, like Upanishads, Puranas, Narada Panchatattva. It is already there. And Prabhupada has concised that, and in his Bhagavad Gita, in beautiful purports. So, summary of section B is 7.4 to 7.12. Knowing Krishna as the source of both the material and spiritual energies is Antaranga and Bahiranga Sakti. Let us look at that. So, these are the uh, external energies. Umirapanulavayuhu manobuddhirevacha ahankara itiyang me bhinna prakutir ashtadha. So ashtadha, basically 8 divided into 8. So his energy has been divided into 8. So those are Bhumi, Apaha, Analaha, Payuhu, Kha, Mana, Buddhi. So Bhumi is earth, Apa is water, then Anala is what? Vayu is air, earth, water, fire. Fire is Anala, and Kha is Akasha. So earth, water, fire, air, and ether are 5, and mind, intelligence, and ego. So Mano, Buddhi, and Ahankara, which is mind, intelligence, ego. So there are the separated material energies. Then next is aparayam itas to anyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahabaho yayedam dharayat jagat. Besides these, O mighty Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resource of this material inferior nature. So Krishna is saying the spirit souls as the superior energy of him. So his separated energies are material energy, and his separated energies are also the superior energy, because we are part and parcels of Krishna. We are separated from Krishna, but we are same in quality, not same in quantity. एतद् योनीनि भूतानि सर्वाणीति उपधारय अहं कृत्स्नस्य जगतः प्रभवः प्रलयस्य तथा. All created beings have their source in these two natures of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world. Know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution. Mrit- what is that? Mrityu sarvagataha. So, and of Kaloshmi, he's saying in chapter 11. So he is also the dissolution. Aham sarvasya prabhava. He is the origin also. Aham sarvasya prabhava matta sarvam pravartate iti matta vajante maham budha bhava samanitaha. But he is saying one thing, that all created beings and their source in this two nature. Only there are two nature. One is material, and another is spiritual. There is no other thing in this entire creation. So this is how we understand this. So once again, just to reiterate, so there are eight separated energies. First, the gross energy, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Then the subtle body, rather, mind, intelligence, and false ego, which are called the separated energy. So Krishna's plenary expansions complete what it is called, and the material creation that is called Prakriti. So Purusha incarnations are Mahavishnu, who is Karanadakshaya Vishnu, who lies in the Karana ocean, and the bubbles. He inhales bubbles and exhales bubbles. So bubbles are nothing but millions and billions of universes. Then it next is the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu for the each of the universe. Then Kirodakshaya Vishnu, which enters, creates the first one creates the material total energy, that's Mahatattva. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu enters into every universe. Each universe that is created, he enters each universe and creates diversities. And Kshirodakshaya Vishnu enters into every atom to maintain as super soul. So every living entity and atom where he is in the heart of the, you know, uh, every living being. However, who do not know Krishna, he thinks material world is for enjoyment of living entities. And living entities are Purusha, cause, controller, enjoyer of material energy. So this is something who is not in knowledge. He thinks that I am the enjoyer. Whereas what we understand is that I am not the enjoyer, I am the enjoyed. And Krishna is the only enjoyer. He is called the Purusha. So 13.67 is all activities directed by three Vishnus. Ingredients of material world are separated energy of the Lord. And which are these material and separated energies? That is earth, water, fire, ether, mind and intelligence, and false ego, and also the living entities. And gross elements we already talked about. Then subtle elements also we talked about. And this combinedly, all this, 5 plus 3 combinedly, all these are called Mahatva. So knowledge of the absolute continuing, besides inferior energy, Lord Krishna superior energy are living entities. We are the living entities. So there are 84 lakhs of species when we say, so there are 84 lakhs of living entities. We can say, so Krishna's energy Shaktis, one is called Antaranga Shakti, which is superior, and something called a Tatastha Shakti or marginal or superior. Why it is called marginal is that any time it is in the tata or the bank of a river, for example. So anytime it can actually go to Krishna, or it can fall to the external energy, or that is to the material. nature. If it falls to the material nature and gets entangled in the material nature, then it goes to the cycle of birth and death. However, it has all the chance and all the opportunity to get out of the cycle and go to Krishna. Therefore, it is called the Tatastha Shakti. It is marginal. So, material world is made up of gross elements and subtle elements. Gross are earth, water, fire, air, and ether, and subtle elements are mind, intelligence, and false ego. But all these are part of material world only. So let us not confuse that mind, intelligence, and ego are part of spiritual. They are part of material. Only soul is part of spiritual. So exploiting. So what happens? This jiva or soul exploits the material world or the material nature in a conditioned state. What is a conditioned state? Conditioned state is that okay, either influenced by any of the gunas. The moment somebody is influenced by any of the gunas means he is conditioned. So he will behave accordingly. And liberation means free from the material illusion, I and mine, in particular from the gunas. So matta parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutra manigana iva. One of the most beautiful verse I have ever heard. Matta parataram na anyat. There is nothing. There is absolutely nothing other than me. Matta parata. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. There is no truth. And everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. If you look at beautiful necklace of pearl necklace, then you can see the necklace and beautifully hung on somebody's neck. However, the neck is there because there is a thread inside, but thread is not visible. So that is called Sutre Manigana Eva. So Krishna holds the entire cosmos, the entire creation, like the thread. Because if the thread is broken, then the entire the all the pearls will fall down. Similarly, the entire creation will fall down. That's done. Our Milky Way or so many other Milky Ways, whatever is there, so many Brahmandas are there. Everything will collapse. So his energies can be easily experienced. Like Prabhupada says that you show me Krishna, so he immediately goes and goes outside and not shows the sun. Yes, he is the energy of Krishna. What and who? So he is the taste of water. Krishna is the taste of water. He is the light of moon and sun. He's the Om of Vedic mantras. He's the ether, the sound of the ether, the ability of the man, the fragrance of earth. There is a special fragrance of the earth. When rain drops, then that's beautiful fragrance comes. That fragrance is the energy of Krishna. Then heat, that is of the fire, and this fire also does the digestion in us. We cannot live without that. That is Krishna. All that leaves the life is Krishna. He is the penance of all ascetics. He is the original seed of all existences. Aham bija prataha. Then he is the intelligence of the intelligent. He is the prowess of all powerful men, the strength of the strong, and the sex life not contrary to the religious principles, as per the religious principles. This is all a small list of his opulences, very small. ये चैव ये चैव सात्विक भाव राजस्तामश्च ये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि न त्वयि अहं तेषु ते मयि. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me. So, so we'll read about the details of the nature, sattva, raja, and guna in other chapter. But here there is a glimpse of that he is beyond the all the three modes. because he says that Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam. So this is the so you can see the deities here. They're basically Sattva, Raja, and Tama, and each living being, binds them through the thread. In fact, that those are the gunas. In fact, the other meaning of guna is also thread, but here the guna is the quality. So Sattva guna, Raja guna, and Tama guna, or you can say goodness, passion, and ignorance. Based on that, this is material nature has the material nature is primarily of three gunas, and it binds unless otherwise one break the branch, or cut off the branch of with detachment, then and goes to Krishna. He is bound to be bound by these ropes, and the ropes of various gunas. Nirguna. Now Krishna is Nirguna. Krishna is the origin of modes, not within modes, and therefore he is Nirguna. So what is Nirguna? Nirguna is not affected by the modes. All activities are conducted under the three modes, all material activities. And these modes emanate from the Supreme Lord, and he is not subordinate to them. Analogy is like, king or the lawmaker who is there. King is not, his subjects are, his subjects are subject to the law, but he may not be subject to the law. And here he's not, just to understand. Section C, the three modes are controlled by Krishna. Which are the three modes? Sattva, Raja, and Tama. Therefore, surrender. दैवी ही एषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्तया. सो सो त्रिभिर्गुणमयैर्भावैर् एभिः सर्वम् इदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति माम् एभय परम अभ्ययम्. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me who I am. That I am above the three modes and is inexhaustible. So Krishna is saying that because the living entities are deluded by the three modes, they are not able to perceive that Krishna is actually above all these modes. Because if somebody is already inside the water, let's say for an aquatic animal, for an aquatic animal, it is impossible to believe that there is something exists even beyond water. Same thing happens here also. Then Daivihesha Gunamai Mama Maya Durataya Mameva Ye Prapadante Maya Metam Tarantite. You can get this verses by heart. They're beautiful verses. So he's saying this divine energy of mind consisting of, he's saying it is my divine energy. So when we say Maya, it is Maya is not something, if somebody says that, Maya is not related to Krishna. If you are in Maya, then you cannot get Krishna. That is right. But Maya is not a separate entity. It is his divine energy. He's saying, Daivihi Esha Gunamai. This Maya is my divine energy. And what it has got the three modes. This Sattva, Raja, and Tama is part of the material nature. But those who have surrendered unto me, Mameva ye prapadante, Maya metam tarantite. So there is no way out to get out of the material nature. And there is only way, that is to surrender unto him. Although we said that surrender is a very big word, it is very difficult. This is the only way. And we can see is Saranagati, this is the posture of Saranagati. Like we saw it in case of Draupadi, we saw it in case of Gajendra, absolute Saranagati. We can see the picture, the Saranagati picture. He himself comes and takes out. This is the ocean. This is the ocean of misery, and Krishna only comes and saves us. So why wait? We are already crossed level 1, now we're level 2. So our sadhana, daily sadhana must increase, because this is the only way to be. Our chanting has to be continuous. So Krishna explains how to get free from the modes bound by clutches of Maya. We are all Nitya means totally bound, Nitya eternally bound. Very difficult to overcome since controlled by Supreme Lord. Divine energy, material energy is called so because of the divine connection with Him. And it is also compared with the guna as a rope. And only Krishna or his bona fide representative can rescue one. So therefore, we are under the Guru Ashraya. So Guru is same as Krishna, and any Guru, whether whether we talk about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whether we talk about any Guru in our parampara, but every Guru is one. Like God is one, Krishna is the God, only one super person. Similarly, Guru is also one. What we say is that the Guru Tattva is there in any Guru. That Tattva remains same. And that Tattva does what? That is the Tattva which represents Krishna, and and he ensures that he grabs our hand and takes out of from the Maya. That is his job. Our job is to do the bhakti, do the Navada bhakti, do the chanting, do the Vaidhi bhakti, and slowly go to the step by step, ladder by ladder. Conditioned soul are nitya baddha means eternally bound by material nature, by the three gunas. No one can trace out the history of the being conditioned, when it got conditioned, and how many lives it is leading in the conditioned way. Nobody can say that. There can be two souls, but there can be a vast difference between the births they have gone across. Somebody asked Prabhupada that is it possible that some entity is a non-human in a previous birth, maybe a bird, maybe a monkey or something, and is it possible that he can become uh, human being this life? He said yes, that is possible. So he primarily said that our theory of evolution is not correct, and this entire process is very easy by surrender. So get free from clutches of Maya eva ye prapadante. Only surrender to Krishna. Only Vishnu is the master of Maya. This is another example. I think in the level one we discussed this example that if your friend has a dog, and on the first day he barks, but next day or after 1 month if you go, then he doesn't bark. In fact, he welcomes because it is its friend's dog. He respects your friend as a master. So here the master of Maya is Krishna. So once you connect to Krishna, then Maya also becomes, just a servant. So 7.1%, the impious lack knowledge. So who are the people who do not surrender to Krishna and who are the people who surrender to Krishna? This also we should know. So we're talking about Duskritinas and Sukritinas. So Naman Duskritina Mudhaha Prapadante Naradhamaha Mayaya Prahuta Jnana Asuram Bhavamashritaha, those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. So these are the four kinds. Who are they? First is Mudha, second is Naradhama, third is Maya Apahruta Jnana, and fourth is Asura Bhava Asrita. These are the four kinds of people who do not surrender to me. And Prabhupada says in most of his lectures that fools, rascals, most of the time he uses this term. If you read and if you listen rather to his lectures, then you will find he says fools, fools, rascals. Someone says that are you not like saying harsh words? And he says no. The the Shastra says mudha. So what is the translation of Mudha in English? I do the right translation. Prabhupada said, what translation? And that is fool, rascal. And he's right. So why he's saying rascal? Because The Mudha is continuously endeavoring like an ass, taking all the loads all the time just for a blade of grass. Whereas the grass is abundant everywhere. So Mudha is having just one life of a human being and not doing anything, not even forget about chanting or even Brahma Jigyasa to liberation, nothing. Only endeavoring, money, and then die. So therefore, he is a Muda. And who is a Naradhama? Naradhama is somebody who is the lowest among mankind. And Prabhupada gives the example of the dog eaters. And he also gives the example of Jagai Madhai. But they're also delivered. They're the lowest of mankind. They also, do not. In first case, what happens? He's so foolish that he doesn't have a Brahma Jigyasa. So therefore, he's a fool. Naradhama is somebody who doesn't. He's in the lowest of the mankind. He eats dog, etc., etc. Again, he doesn't surrender because he doesn't think that surrendering is a process even. And then the most dangerous or the most why dangerous, I would say, because these people seem to be very good on the outer surface. Maya aparata jnanis, they are so-called scholars, the great scientists, all these people who are there in the society. They make big lectures, but ultimately they do not surrender because their knowledge is stolen by illusory energy. That they in fact they can talk to you in such a way. And if they talk, therefore, in fact, Chaitanya Deva, our Chaitanya Thakur, in fact, warns that Mayavadis, these people are Mayavadis, and Maya Bhashya, please be away from this Maya Bhashya, because they can, even they are already stolen by the illusory energy. And if we read those Maya Bhashyas, then we'll also not achieve Krishna, because they will talk about some void, something. Then Asuram Bhava Asrita, these are the demonic nature of people. They're always envious of God. Like, examples, all the Asuras, whether it is Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, what they do, the great, you know, tapasya and all that to do, but they envy Vishnu because they want to be Vishnu. Nobody can be Vishnu. Matta parataram nanya. If Krishna is saying Matta Parataram Nanyat, how Ravan can be Matta Paratara? How Hiranyaksha can be Matta Paratara? No one can be. But they think they can, and therefore they do not surrender. So this is the example. The ass who keeps on, this is a Mudha, and this is on the right, it is the Jagai Madhai, the Naradhama, and this is the case of the Ravana, who is the Asurabhama Asrita. Then Namang Duskrit no Mudha, Prapadante Naradhama, Maya Prata Jnana, Asurambhava Asritaha. O best among Bharata, four kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the absolute. Chaturvida bhajante mam, jana sukritina arjuna, artha jig artha jigyasur artharthi, jnani cha bharatarsabha. So previously, Krishna said that there are four people who do not surrender. Now he's talking about four people who surrender. And who are they? So one is the Artha, next is the Jigyasu, next is the Artharthi, and the last is the Jnani. So Artha, Jigyasu, Artharthi, and Jnani. Artha is somebody who is distressed, Jigyasu who is seeking for knowledge, Artharthi he wants some wealth, and Jnani, of course, searching for knowledge or inquisition. So they are the people who surrender. So these are the examples of all of them that we talked about. The first one is Gajendra. So Gajendra comes under which category? Hare Krishna. Anyone? Artha, Artharthi, Jigyasu, or Jnani? Hare Krishna. Anyone? Gajendra comes under which category? Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So Gajendra comes under which category? Artha, Artharthi, Jnani, or
Ar-
Jigyasu?
Artha.
Yes. And second picture is of Draupadi. She comes under which category? Artha, right?
Yes.
And third is the case of Sukha Maharaj, who was there for 14 years in her Vatika's So she is also
Jnani.
no. Sukha Maharaj is Jnani,
Okay.
but I'm talking
Okay.
about her. So she is also Artha. And on the right, who is there? Right extreme.
Mhm.
If you're reading Bhagavatam, then you know who he is.
Sukhdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj.
Yes.
Parikshit Maharaj. Yes.
So now Sukadeva comes under which category? Or
Gyani,
Parishit Maharaj.
Jnani.
Okay. And Parishit Maharaj comes under which category? Jigyasu.
Jigyasu.
Yes,
Yes.
because he wants. Then on the left and the bottom is Dhruv Maharaj. So he's Artharthi because he wants
Okay.
the kingdom. On the next one is Sugriva. He also wants his kingdom. So he's also Artharthi, and it is the Namisharanya. So here all the Gyanis are there. Okay. So this is how it is. Sukritinas. So Sukritinas are pious people. Okay. Artha, Artharthi, Jigyasu, Jnani, that we understood. Distressed, well seeker, inquisitive, one who desires knowledge of absolute truth, etc. So four categories of pious people. So all these are pious. So Artha, Arthati, Jigyasu, Jnani, these are pious people. They are adhering to regulative principles of scriptures and follow moral and social laws, and more or less they are devoted to Supreme Lord. More or less. But they are not pure devotees. Are they pure devotees? No, because they have some aspiration to fulfill in exchange of devotional service. Because suppose Artha is there, and if his let's say distress is out, then after that he or she may not continue her devotional journey. So therefore, they are not pure devotees. However, they are pious. What is pure devotional service? That is rendering transcendental loving service favorably. Anukulyanya Krishnanu Shilanam. Anya Vilashita Sunyam. Jnana Karmadi Anabrutam. Anukulyanya Krishnanu Shilanam Bhakti Ruttama. So rendering transcendental loving service favorably without desiring for material profit or gain through fruitive activities. Destiny of the Sukritanas, where they go in due course, they associate with pure devotees and get purified because they have this, they are already pious. So they come across some association. Like all of us are now coming under some association. We might have done some pious activities. So definitely that is the reason why we're talking, and we're now talking about Krishna. It's not easy. It's not that easy. Very few people are joining even 18 days, level one. And if level one is, let's say, registration is 100, at level two, it becomes, less than 50 or less than that. Then how many people then go to Bhakti Sastri and Bhakti Bhaiva? Very less. Why? It is not about the academics. It is about, there is nothing academics on Krishna. In fact, if someone says that I have got by heart all the verses of Gita from number one Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra, so he can just rattle out all the up to Sarvadharman Parityaja, let's say. So is he talking about the knowledge of Gita? If he, even if it translates it, okay, fine, but that is not what it is. If bhakti has not come, then this knowledge is of no use. The jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, karma yoga, everything ultimately has to culminate to bhakti yoga. That is the process. And when they are free from all material desires, when they fully understand that material remuneration has nothing to do with spiritual development, then that is a stage where Sukritinas, these all these Artha Artha the Jignasu Jnani, that is the hope that, so they go to Krishna consciousness. So for them, devotional service is very difficult. But then what is the hope for miscreants in the regard to devotional service? For them, devotional service is very difficult because their lives are selfish, irregular, without spiritual goals. We're talking about the other four, right? And now Krishna says, out of these four, that is Artha, Artharthi, Jigyasu, and Jnani, the distress, the inquisitive, and the desire to know who is the best. Can anyone say who is the best among them as per Krishna, and why? Okay, I can give the part answer. So Jnani is the best. But why? Okay, let us look at the why. Because he is in full knowledge of the absolute truth and free from material desires. And because he engages in pure devotional service, Lord is very dear to him and he is dear to the Lord. When one is in pure knowledge of the transcendence of the spirit, Supreme Lord, material contamination cannot touch him. Because he's already in the knowledge. Like, for example, when you say all the rishis of Nimisharanya, when you say about Sukha Muni, who are already jnani, so they are free from all material desires. Absolutely, there is no doubt on that. And therefore, they come to this platform, and therefore they're supposed to be the best out of the four. Udaraha sarva evaite jnani tvatvam. Once again. Udara sarva evaite jnani tva atma me matam asthitaha sahi yuktatma mam evanuttamam gatim. All these devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous souls, but he who is situated in knowledge of me, I consider to be just like my own self, being engaged in my transcendental service, is sure to attain me, the highest and the most perfect goal. So what Krishna is saying that all these people who Jnani, Artharthi, Jigyasu, all their magnanimous souls, no doubt, everyone is great. But he who is situated in knowledge, that is the Jnani, I consider to be just like my own self. He is considering the Jnani as his own self. We can see examples of many. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyante Vasudevam Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. This particular verse is beautiful and you should get it by heart. I would request everyone. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanamam Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. But we can see here the gopis. They are among the rares. So when the first class devotional service happens or the bhakti happens, which is very rare, what happens? Realization of one fully in knowledge and knows that spiritual life is full of activities which are eternal and blissful and not just impersonalism or voidism. So in our Krishna consciousness movement also, we see that we are full of action. There is no question of, you know, in fact, there was a beautiful episode I've just read in one of the Prabhupada's book was, I think he went to Mayapur at some point of time during his visit to Mayapur, and he saw some of the devotees were in fast, Ekadasi fast, and they were just uh, some were just sleeping and uh, they're saying that what are you doing and what are you doing? No, Ekadasi is there. We have not eaten anything, so just waiting and chanting and not doing anything, taking rest. Then he said, "No, no, no, no. Action is required. If you know your fasting is not allowing you to be active, then I would rather ask you to take some food and then come to the temple and do kirtan and do seva, do so many things which is there." He was doing, in fact, 22 hours of service. He was writing Bhagwatam, he was writing many books, many, many books. So material world is perverted reflection of the spiritual activities, that is the inverted banyan tree, and who understand Lord as the cause of all causes, Sarva Karana Karanam, and thus realizes a universal vision of Vasudeva, sees all in the relation to Lord, and thus vision precipitates full surrender to Krishna as his highest goal. This is where he realizes the dependence on Supreme Lord's mercy. And this is how the surrender happens. And this is called the beginning. When trying to give up attachment to materialism, there is some leaning towards impersonalism. But after that, in advanced stage, what happens? Later, he understands that there are activities in spiritual life, devotional service, and thus he becomes attached and surrenders to this SPOG. So first, what happens is attachment is required for Krishna. So, so, and slowly, it goes to the ruchi and all those stays, and then finally the prema. Now, section E, 20 to 25. I don't think we can finish it off today. Let's try. Uh, okay, let's try. Others who have no knowledge, those who surrender to demigods, those who are impersonalists. So they do not have the knowledge means they do not know that Krishna is the supreme personal Godhead. So there is no point of watering the leaves or the branches. There is because if we water to the roots, in any case, the leaves and branches will be okay and healthy. So this is called the knowledge. This one, when one doesn't have this intelligence, those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender onto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own nature. Even if one, goes to the Brahma Loka also, then also he falls down. And why he falls down? Because of two things. One, after his good deeds are over, after his punyas are over, in any case, he has to fall down. Second is, when we go to such lokas where there is only enjoyment, like Swargalaka or Brahmalaka or all those lokas, where there is only enjoyment, what happens? One forgets. There is no devotional service there. Devotional service happens only on earth, here only. It doesn't happen in Swarga and other lokas because generally people forget because there is so much of other enjoyment is there. There are, you know, so many things are there in Swargas, Apsaradas there, and so on and so forth. Then in hellish planets also, one cannot do any devotional service because the pain and suffering is so much that they cannot do. So therefore, it is the only place, and this human life is the only life where we can actually endeavor for Krishna consciousness. So please, please, please let us do it every day. One mala every day. Increase it to two mala because there is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other way. So if someone is worshipping demigod, there is no harm in it. Krishna says, because Krishna only gives the faith in that. Because Krishna knows that whatever he is asking from the demigod, those things Krishna is only supplying. However, liberation no one can give. So any demigod is not interested in liberation or what is the best for you. They will give whatever you want, maybe wealth, maybe knowledge, maybe whatever. So yo yam yam tanum bhaktaha श्रद्धयार्चितुम् इच्छति तस्य तस्याचला श्रद्धां तामेव विदधाम्यहम्. So endowed with such a faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtain his desires. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. As I was saying, that Krishna ultimately gives all the power to the demigods, and based on those power, they give the respective benefits to who worships them. However, antavantu phalam tesham. That's what he's saying. So men of small intelligence worship the demigods. Why? Why they are called of small intelligence? Because ultimately, for what reason somebody is worshipping? If we are not worshipping for liberation, then everything else is of, we can say, of less intelligence. And if any demigod for that matter cannot give liberation. They will give only some benefits which will ultimately perish. And therefore, it is called that men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, like Brahma to Brahmaloko, Shiva to Sivaloko, or Janaloko, Tapaloko, Mahaloko, whatever, and ultimately reach by Supreme. However, my devotees, Krishna says, my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. Yat gatva na nibartante. Why demigod worship concept is less intelligence? We understood this. It is very simple. Intelligence stolen by material desires. Fruits are limited and temporary. Basis of choice of worship, different modes of nature. And Krishna is the source of everything. So, but then they do not have this knowledge. So because they do not have this knowledge, now as a Paramatma, Krishna also ensures that his faith is steady, required by a living entity to worship the demigod. Krishna bestows benefits through the demigods to the living entities, and ultimately, what is the result? Go to the demigod planets, keeps one in the middle world, a place of misery. Ultimately, this happens to the non-intelligent person. However, what do Krishna devotees do? They go to the supreme planet, that is Golok Vrindavana. That is result of demigod worship are all perishable, and result of devotional service unto Krishna is unlimited and eternal. So this is the nature of demigod worshippers. They follow karma kanda. They follow all and are attracted to material enjoyment, seeks quick results. So whoever wants that, they can do that. But they should also know that these are temporary. And what is the philosophy? Because they believe that one who worships a demigod can reach the supreme lord. That is the wrong thing. That is not going to be possible. And also he accepts demigods as equal to Krishna. That is Matta Parataram Nanyat. He has already said. So it's not possible. A particular demigod is supreme instead of Krishna. That is also another offense. In fact, the second offense, this world is meant for enjoyment. Again, a wrong conception. And their goal is dharma, artha, and kama. Moksha is not there in their list, and which is the ultimate aim of every living being. And mentality and attitude, I am the enjoyer, desires superior enjoyment in higher planets. He wants to go to Brahma Loko, Jana Loko, Tapo Loko, Mahaloko, and enjoy the apsaras, the what is that called? Uh, the elixir or whatever is that. Then false prestige and all that. And what they do? They perform prescribed duties, worship demigods, perform sacrifices. But sacrifices are also meant for some enjoyment. And what is the ultimate result? He achieves higher planetary systems and enjoy until his pious results are exhausted and then returns to the middle planetary system. And what is the middle planetary system? This Earth. So I think we can stop here because it's already 10:20, but there are only hardly 10, more. But can we? I don't know. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Can you continue or we stop? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Can we continue or stop? It's okay. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. We can stop here, Prabhuji.
Sure. Okay, fine. So we stop in 41. We'll continue because only few are there. So we can start, we can cover this part as well as the chapter 8, right?
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Yes. Stop sharing and also